SternerFamilyDental.com.
And if you forget any of this, look for the ad in the Current.
Go to currentonline.com.
ARNT.
Online.com, yes. So we were talking Senator Mark Warner, who is, like most Democrats, a complete and vicious hypocrite, right? Mm-hmm. So we heard him. He's now been guilty of trying to do the same thing that Mueller's trying to blame Trump for, right?
Yeah,
along with Adam Schiff.
Let's make a deal.
The Democrats are dirty, pointing the finger at Trump for what they've done. They call that projection, if I recall my psychology classes.
Yep, we've talked about that.
Let's go back and see this little video clip of Mr. Warner from not too long ago. Derek, you got track 2 ready? Go ahead and play this. This is Brett Baer.
I think that the president, frankly, I can't believe what he's saying. I mean, here was in black and white an email that said, hey, meet with this Russian lawyer acting as an agent of the Russian government, and this is part of the Russian government's effort to help then-candidate Trump and to discredit Clinton. I don't know anybody, Democrat or Republican, that would take that kind of meeting with not only a foreign government, but a foreign adversary, and frankly, a government that we've learned was trying to hack into our whole electoral process, and frankly, fairly successfully was able to interfere.
Guy needs to invest in a mirror.
Hello, Mr. Warner. You don't know of anybody
who
would take a meeting like that? How about you? You hypocrite.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
What a scumbag is the word that comes to mind immediately.
Well,
how do we elect lying scumbags like this repeatedly over America? It's time to wake up.
Virginia, wake up.
Stop electing lying scumbags. It's not going to help you in the long run. They might give you a little special interest pat on the back now, but in the long run, you're destroying our country with these scum. So stop. It's 2018. I'm going to try and calm myself down here.
I'm enjoying watching this. We've got to get a video camera in here.
I don't know if we could do video in here, but it's 2018. The election is now. It's happening. Get out and campaign for the right people. The primaries are coming.
Yep.
Pick fiscal conservatives, right, on the Republican side. And in the general, make sure you're not voting for Democrats because Democrats want to keep ballooning this, right? They want to keep – and it's bad enough we have to battle our own Republicans to keep from spending money. The Democrats are twice as bad. So please – find yourself a good Republican to support in the primary and campaign for them. You can't just go flip the lever. You have to do a little campaigning for them. Put a sticker on your car.
And if somebody's on the
Facebook
ag committee, that does not matter because you're still putting somebody in there that's going to give the majority to the wrong party that's going to screw you on everything else.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely. So you've got to stop. But this Russian collusion thing is just every text that comes out from the FBI at this point. And I can't wait for the full Inspector General report because you know what, folks, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You know, you hear Hannity's always going TikTok. Oh, it's coming. When this Inspector General's report comes out, it will be damning. And doggone it, people need to go to jail. You know, preferably, I'd like to see some gallows at Leavenworth. That's my hashtag, right? I think I started that one. But
I looked in the hardware stores. You cannot find pitchforks. You cannot find lanterns. Seriously, I looked. They don't sell them. There must be a reason.
Not at Home Depot?
No
pitchforks at Home Depot? Come on, really?
Well, there's not a Home Depot in D.C. proper.
Yeah. I imagine not, right? Let's take we've got Tim Walberg calling in. Yay. Hey, Tim, welcome to the show.
Well, good to be back. Hopefully it sounds better this week than it did last week.
Oh, it's a pleasant surprise because I didn't think we'd actually get you this weekend. So I'm so glad you called in. I don't know if you listened to the first half of the show or not, but you want to give us some update on Intel with the Adam Schiff. You probably know more about the Adam Schiff stuff than the Senate side of things. But what can you start out with giving us an update on Intel and the Democratic memo?
Well, the Democratic memo really tells nothing more than what the Republican memo tells, except it puts methods and sources in that we know have to be redacted at the very least. And so that gives me reason to believe that Adam Schiff, as his normal process is, he's always found to have committed hyperbole at the very least and political philandering at the worst. the guy probably did it this way so that the president would have to have that document redacted, and then they could say, look at this, the Republicans redacted it so the information wouldn't get out to people. Well, it's information that can't get out to the people without causing harm to the good people in the field that are doing the type of investigations and intelligence gathering on real terrorists and not on Chris Steele. So I think this is all political, and in the end, the Judicial Department as well as the FBI is going to say, Mr. President, whether you like it or not, we're going to have to redact some key sections in here because we just can't let those methods and sources out and expect to have our good agents in the field being able to do their job. So
okay, so and this is the question I've been asking, Tim, because when we think of agents being in danger overseas, we always think about our CIA agents being exposed and then they end up getting killed, captured, tortured, whatever. Here on a domestic front, can you explain that just a little deeper for us? So are there, when they say methods and sources, I'm assuming are those agents in the field that are undercover?
Do we have an agent in the DNC?
Well, that's why I'm kind of going this way, Tim, because I'm trying to figure out who's actually getting exposed. I just don't see the person or the method that's being exposed. We all know that wiretaps, whatever the technical terms are for wire and internet tapping, what is it that would be exposed? No one's going to go into the details of what computer server they used or whatever. I can't even imagine that's in the FISA stuff. But are these actual agents that are undercover at the DNC, in the Trump campaign, wherever, that we can't see their names?
There are agents in the FBI, probably at multiple places in our country, where there are indications or sources that indicate a problem relative to our nation's freedom and its governmental system as well as its people. I guess that's the best I can tell you. I can't say that there's an agent in the DNC or an agent in the RNC. But I tell you what, if there is any indication, whether it's the RNC or the DNC, that either organ is attempting to do wrong by our country and its citizens, then I hope there is some agent that has a source that is looking into what's going on to make sure that our country, with a deep state or otherwise, is not taken over. And that's what we're talking about. Methods, we can think of the basic methods that you use for finding information. But there are other methods that are even unique to the United States, at the very least not known by foreign countries or foreign operatives that are enemies to us, who, if they knew some of these methods, it's not simply that they would be used on our president or his campaign. It's the same type of method that could be used in getting at information in North Korea or Iran or some other bad actor in the world. So,
right. Well, I know you can't tell us. Yeah. I know you can't tell us, but I think we need an agent in the DOJ. I think we need a deep agent in the DOJ, and we need an agent in the FBI. The way things are going these days, to tell us what the Strzok's and the Pages are saying, and
Well, let me say this: with all that's going on, and now what is coming out of the Department of Justice and the FBI, does anyone know for a fact that there isn't an agent or a source in the FBI or the DOJ?
As funny as it sounds.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're talking with Congressman Tim Walberg from the 7th District, Michigan, and Tim's updating us on some of the things going on in Washington. And so, Tim, I guess I Twitter it all the time. I always give my full support to the rank and file of the FBI and the DOJ because you know what, 95.8%, whatever, of our DOJ employees and FBI employees are good people. They work hard. They love America. They're doing their jobs. It's the appointees from the Obama administration and some of these lifetime bureaucrats that have weaseled their way to the top that are the ones guilty of breaking the rules and breaking the laws.
And that, again, is why there are three branches of government. We each watch over the other. And the legislative branch is supposed to be the most powerful.
I'm glad we're back to three branches of government. For about 8 years there, we weren't,
Exactly.
But even with that, and I get exactly what you're saying, but even with that, you have a potentially a deep state that has developed over years, not just with the Obama administration, though I would guess that it ramped up there.
The fourth branch.
Yeah.
Those people are still there in those administrative, executive branch area, which the FBI, CIA, Department of Justice is. That's under the control of the president. And so when you have a new president that nobody expected to be president, and especially Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and that group, all of a sudden you've got a problem, because what was full reign and free reign in those entities, now there's a new sheriff in town, and there's a Congress that isn't being pushed back and stonewalled by the executive branch anymore, like we were, at least at the level of what we were. We're still having to push, even with subpoenas at times, the Justice Department and FBI. But it isn't like it was before, where they just simply said no. And since we don't have any prosecutorial power in the People's House or the State's House, the legislative branch, we were pushed back. Now we don't have that same problem. And when you have the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, who I've met on numerous occasions in my office, in my last function as on the Oversight and Government Reform Committee.
Oh, he wasn't investigating you then?
No. But he was responding to me, and he was bringing me up to date on what they were doing. And this guy, who was appointed both by Bush and by Obama, and has now been kept by Trump, there's a reason he's there. You could have a wrong perception of a person, but what I've seen of this guy and how he's dealt with us through the amount of the 6 years that I've known him, I have some confidence that his investigation is going places that never were before, and in fact now he has support of the executive office, the president, to complete his task wherever that leads him.
Now, that report that we've been hearing so much about, Tim, is do we have a date for when that's going to come out, the Inspector General's report?
I've not seen a date on that. In most cases, there is only a general date put in place, simply because you don't know where that next stone that you've turned might, what it might uncover,
right?
Where that might lead you. But there's a general. I think it's within the next couple of months.
Okay,
that would come out.
Yeah. All right. So, will Jeff Sessions ever get off his butt and actually charge anybody?
Right. He's the Attorney General, isn't he?
He is.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember the numerous times on this show where I've said I didn't like Jeff Sessions as a senator, let alone as Attorney General, but that's where he is. And I had hoped that when I first read that Trey Gowdy was going to be retiring, that I'd read down a few more paragraphs and say that there might be an opportunity for him to be Attorney General, but so far he's been very clear, and even direct language to me, that no, he just wants to go back to South Carolina and get back into his prosecutorial role in going after bad guys at the local level.
He could do that as AG.
I would prefer that he. Yeah, I'd love to see Trey Gowdy do that.
Well,
yeah.
Never say never. I know that Trump likes Trey, and so we'll see what happens. But right now, that's not the direction it seems that it's going.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's change gears, Tim, because I know you guys are probably going to get some flack over the budget deal as well, because we're super spending again. I take the tweet from the president that we kind of had our hand forced, right, on the spending. You want to talk a little bit about the budget deal?
Yeah, I mean, we all ought to be incensed that we continue to spend, but let's be incensed at the right issue. And at the very least, it's the Democrats, Chuck Schumer, holding hostage us in various ways. And frankly, the strategy, I think, is working to this date to take more and more things off the table that Schumer can hold us hostage with. He got hurt with a Schumer shutdown, and that was his shutdown. So he acquiesced quickly. We had a short term. We came back, and now we go to the middle of March with this short-term CR. However, we've taken the entire military spending budget off the table as a blackmail tool that Schumer can use. That's the first time in 10 years it has it has, number one, been off the table because it's got a 2-year spending plan. Everything